fish on. Nice. Ooh. Oh, power dive. Oh, they are feisty. This one slammed that Tui Chub fly. Oh, he's nice. Not as big as the other one, but he's plenty big. Ooh, what a battler. There we go. Well, he smashed that fly. What a beautiful rainbow. Nice fish. 16, 17 inches long probably. Just a beautiful trout. I am stoked. That was 60 feet back at 1.5. I'm in about 22 feet of water. So we'll get that back out there and get on it. Lots of time. Hello folks, Kel Kellogg here. If I look exactly like I looked in my last podcast, that's because I filmed the last one like 5 minutes ago. In that podcast, we talked about lure color. In this podcast, we're going to talk about trolling speeds. And again, this is my mileage. Your mileage may vary, but I've been at this for a long time, and this is what I've found. This is how I fish. I catch a lot of fish. You probably catch a lot of fish too, and you might do that doing a lot of things different from what I do. So anyway, but a few people have asked me to share my thoughts on trolling speeds and what lures work best at which speeds. So let's get after it. I like to look at trout trolling. I like to break it down in 3 different speed ranges, okay? Fast. What is fast? I think for me, fast is from 2.5 all the way up to 5 miles an hour. That's pretty fast. Fast trolling's become quite the craze now. It's nothing new. It's just gotten popular in the last few years. But out there, speed trolling aggressively for aggressive fish, that speed's around 3 miles an hour. It's been around for a long time. It's a technique that Gary Morales of the Shasta Tackle Company, now part of Max Lure, he showed me that 12 years ago. He used to tell me, biggest trouble with my humdinger, got one out here, where is it? Biggest problem with my humdinger isn't that it doesn't catch fish, it's that it doesn't catch fish when you troll it slow. So guys would buy this lure, they'd go out to their lake, they'd put it on, they'd troll it at 1.5 to 2 miles an hour. It'll catch a few fish. It's nothing special. You crank this half-ounce humdinger up to 3.5, 4 miles an hour, it's a deadly producer of big trout. So Gary told me that's one of my big challenges, getting guys to troll the humdinger fast enough, because it's one of the most deadly lures in my entire lineup if you troll it at the right speed. So for me, fast trolling, 2.5 to 5 miles an hour. The half-ounce humdinger, it's one of my favorites. Works great. It's a great big fish lure. It's great at lakes that have a lot of bait fish. A couple of the other lures that I troll fast very effectively, any kind of minnow bait. This is a Yozuri L minnow in a rainbow trout pattern. This, of course, is a floating Rapala, chartreuse over white. Again, these are lures. You can put them on, troll them at 3, 4 miles an hour. Work that rod tip if you want to. Add some action. Add some stops and starts to the lure. Super effective. Cover a ton of water with these. Big fish are drawn to them. If you really want to go big, you want to get super aggressive, get yourself a big Speedy Shiner. This is a copper one. This is a 1/4 ounce size. It's dang near 3 inches long. Troll this lure all the way up to 5 miles an hour, and it's deadly effective. Part of why fast trolling is effective is because you can cover so much water, you can aggressively work this structure, and you cover a lot of water, you're gonna find aggressively feeding trout, and those are the fish you're targeting when you're trolling fast. Now my philosophy is start out fast, learn this from Gary Morales, start out fast. If they don't want fast, slow down to medium speed. They don't want medium speed, slow it way down. Somewhere in that range you're gonna catch fish. Often you won't have to slow down, no. This last summer I caught a ton of fish on both humdingers and Speedy Shiners. I'd put those lures on. My key speed was about 3 miles an hour. Of course, I'm pedaling in my Hobie kayak. 3 is a comfortable pedal for me, and I just killed them at 3 miles an hour, which that's tremendously fast for a lot of guys. A lot of guys like to troll at 1.5. To me, that's slow kokanee speed. So fast, 2.5 to 5. Middle speed, medium speed. I consider that's a narrower range for me. That's 2 to 2.5, and you're going to recognize a couple of these lures that I use. I rely on them. They're deadly effective at that speed. Number 1, tried and true, the Shasta Tackle Cripple Lure. It's a killer. It has, at 2 miles an hour, up to 2.5, it has a very unpredictable action. It wobbles, but occasionally it'll roll out. It'll roll out. And anybody who's fished a cripple lure a lot knows you'll hook a lot of fish on the side of the face. And what that tells me is the fish are striking it in part because it has such an unpredictable action, and they're committing to strike it, and the lure rolls away from them and they partially miss it, but they still get hooked. So that's probably my number 1 choice in the middle speed range. Another great lure, you've seen me catch a bunch of fish on this on video, is the Corner Outs Castmaster. It's not too big, it's not too small. It runs great at 2 to 2.5. I run them in orange, I run them in chrome and blue, I run them in brass and gold patterns. They work real well. And here's a new plug, new for me, that I'm experimenting with that works great at that 2 to 2.5 speed range. And this is the Yakima Bait Mag Lip. It's a diving plug. This thing will dive down 10 plus feet, so no need to use, if the water's reasonably cool, no need for lead core, any of that. This will dive down to where the fish are. I don't know if you can hear it. Has a rattle in it. Great action, great color. It reminds me a lot, and I keep talking about Shasta Tackle here, it reminds me a lot of a lure that Shasta Tackle had years ago called the Bug-Eyed Stinger. And man, that was a lure that you wouldn't get a lot of hits on, but when you got hit on it, it was often a big fish, and that's what I'm finding with the Mag Lip as well. It's a great big fish lure. They come in smaller sizes. I kind of like this medium size. I'm not sure which size this is. Doesn't say on it, but it's about 2.5, 3 inches long. But I'm just starting to play with these, and I really like what I'm seeing. So we've hit the water, tried going fast. No way, nothing. We've slowed down. It's still tough. Now it's time to get really slow. And for me, slow is from 1 to 1.5, kind of up to 1.8, 2 miles an hour. But that 1.5 is what I really consider slow trolling, especially for trout. I like to target kokanee at 1.5 to 2, so when I'm going 1 to 1.5, I'm just really crawling. In fact, in my kayak, I got to actively back off the pedals or I get going too fast. Having said that, I've had some memorable days slow trolling, especially up in the high Sierras. Lots of times slow trolling works better up there. I don't know why. That's what I've seen. Might not even be true. Maybe it's just my experience. I've caught a few fish up there slow trolling, so I think, oh man, that's the way you got to do it. But anyway, here are some great lures if you're gonna troll slow. Number 1, we're going old school here, the Flatfish. Tons of vibration, goes very slow, stays in the strike zone forever, big wide wobble. This last summer, this was a go-to lure for me when the going got tough. I got out to Flatfish, and it saved some days for me, no doubt about it. Another great spoon for going slow is the Dick Knight. Now this is kind of a medium-sized Dick Knight. I had some great success. I just didn't have one in my box. In fact, I think my favorite one is tied on my rod right now, trolling a little tiny sized Dick Knight spoons. This is another lure that's often overlooked. They've been around forever and a day. The trout don't know. They still like them a lot, and so do the kokanee. Man, you put a little piece of corn on there, you're good to go. For trout, sometimes I'll put a little piece of Nightcrawler on that hook, but the Dick Knight, they work great. They're deadly. 1.5 miles an hour, all the way down to 1 mile an hour. These are fish killers. Now here's one you've seen me fishing a bunch this year. I've become an Arctic fox fly junkie. I troll them at 1.5. This is a rainbow trout pattern. Sometimes all the way up to 2 miles an hour. You could troll them faster, and of course, I team that with an action disc here. The action disc sits on the nose of that fly. It's on the leader. Gives it a lot of vibration. It's an awesome action. When the water starts flowing through that Arctic fox fur, it's undescribable. It's just super deadly. I'm addicted to trolling these things. I just love trolling these flies. So, and I caught some huge fish on. I caught a 7-pound rainbow on one of these flies. Not this pattern, but one very similar to that this year. I caught what was that fish? 23, 24 inches up at Lake Davis. Actually, I think I caught that one on a Dick Knight. Caught that one on a tiny Dick Knight, but the rest of the fish I caught that day, and they were nice too. They weren't quite as big. They were on the Tui chub pattern Arctic fox. Now, here's a lure that more guys should be using. This is a lure that was designed for kokanee, but it catches kokanee, it catches trout, catches kings. This is the Brad's Killer Fishing Gear kokanee cut plug. And this is the lure. I've got some videos out about it. It's got the scent chamber inside. You thread your leader through it, have double hooks running off the back. When I rig it up for trout, I rig it with a single octopus and a treble hook. I also get some beads back there. This lure works very, very well at 1 to 1.5 miles an hour. It rotates. It's a rolling bait. It looks like a rigged shad. It comes in a bunch of different colors. This one's copper. I've done really well on trout with the copper pattern. So the Brad's is a great slow lure. And last but not least, actually two last but not least, so I don't have any Nightcrawlers in front of me. A threaded Nightcrawler with either some Max flashlight trolls, the little Mylar flashers, or with no blades at all, works great. Just a 1.5 inch section of Nightcrawler or a gulp worm, or the plastic grubs. And as you can see, I have kind of a Spartan collection because this is in my kayak and stuff. I have a bunch of different colors in there. Let me break one of these bad boys out. I really like the Berkeley Power Grubs. I'll run with the, I think this is the 2-inch size. Anyway, I run with the 1-inch and 2-inch versions. Pin that on a hook, troll it at 1 mile an hour. You can go up to 1.5. I really like to troll that slow at 1 mile an hour. Make sure you use a good swivel. No matter how you pin that thing on a hook, it's gonna roll and turn. And if you don't have a good troll and swivel on, you're gonna tangle your stuff all up. Some guys at lakes like Lake Comanche, they like to put a power egg in front of that. Don't know if it's the scent or the color change in the lure, whatever. It works great. I've done a little bit of that, but I often find myself using these up in the high mountains where the fish are feeding on bugs. I'll go with a natural color like that, olive green, motor oil color, something like that. Or, you know, sometimes if I'm thinking bright's gonna work well, I'll go with a bright orange. But anyway, grubs and worms kind of rounds out my selection of lures. So fast, 2.5 to 5, medium, 2 to 2.5, slow, 1 to 1.5. And I encourage you, fish systematically. Hit the water, use your sonar, find a bait if you're at a bait fish lake, find a fish, start out fast, then slow down to your phase 2 speed lures. If those fail you, slow down to your phase 1 speed lures. Cover that spectrum. Typically, you're gonna start hitting fish before you break out to super slow stuff, but not always. So you don't need an extensive collection of tackle. You need to get a collection of tackle that has a plan. Fast, medium, slow, across a range of colors that you have confidence in. For me, that's bait fish stuff, earth tone stuff, then the bright stuff. Anyway, that's what I've found that works. Your mileage may vary, and I'll catch you next time. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and in a future video, I'll do my best to cover them. Anyway, come join me at the Sacramento ISE show. It's coming up. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to be in the Fish Sniffer booth. I'm also going to be at the Kayak City Kayak booth doing some seminars on trout fishing from a kayak. We're giving away fishing rods at the Fish Sniffer booth. We got reels this year. It's going to be a big party. It's a big party when I'm done. It's one of my busiest times of the year. Anyway, catch me next time. This is Cal Kellogg signing off. Hey, just for fun, I thought I'd give you one last look at those lures. There are my fast lures. There's the humdinger, the Rapala, the Yozuri El Minnow, and that beautiful copper Speedy Shiner right there. Here's the medium-sized stuff. There's that cripple lure up top there, the Yakima Mag Lip, and that's actually a brown trout pattern 1/4 ounce Castmaster, and the slow stuff. Up there we've got that orange Flatfish, the Dick Knight, the Kokanee Mini Cut Plug, the Arctic Fox Fly, and of course my bag of grubs.